Hello again. This tutorial is for a puff stitch granny square. It's another square to add to the collection of squares that I've already done tutorials for. It's done with double knit yarn and a 5mm hook. You can do this square in any other ply of yarn as long as you adjust the hook size to the size of the yarn. It'll usually tell you on the ball band what size hook or needle to use. Starting with a white yarn, and we need to slip stitch with a slip knot onto the hook and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're going to join into the first chain with a slip stitch to form a ring. Into this ring we're going to work 8 puff stitches. I've already done a tutorial on puff stitches before, but I will show you how to do it again here. So we go into the ring and single crochet 1 stitch. Now we'll go on to the puff stitch. So if you pull the loop quite loose of the stitch that you've just done, and then yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over into the ring and pull up a loop. We've now got 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches on the hook. We yarn over and we're going to pull through all of the loops at the same time, followed by chain 1. And then we do exactly the same again, yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop and pull up quite loose, into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop. Then yarn over and we're going to pull through all of the loops at the same time and chain 1. Yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop quite loosely, into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop, and then pull through all the loops at the same time and chain 1. Yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop, and pull through all at the same time, followed by chain 1. We've now got 4 puff stitches into that ring. We're going to do a further 4. So yarn over into the loop, into the ring, sorry, pull up a loop, just pull some yarn out, pull up a loop and pull up a loop. We do it 3 times for each puff stitch and a chain 1 to fasten off. Yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull through all of the loops and a chain 1. Just move that round slightly. Yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop, into the ring, pull up a loop, pull through all of the loops together and a chain 1. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just move that round slightly. Yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, pull up a loop and pull up a loop, and through all of the loops, chain 1, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the first cluster with a slip stitch, and we can now snip off the yarn, pull through the loop and fasten off. Just pop that thread through to the back. There we go. We're now going to change colour, and I'm going to work with a light pink. So we join the new colour, slip knot onto the hook, and then in between any of the puff stitches we're going to join with a slip stitch and chain 1. We're now going to do 2 clusters in each of the spaces between the clusters from the previous row. So again, pull up the loop quite loosely, yarn over into the space, pick up a loop, yarn over into the loop, pick up a space twice, yarn over, pick up a loop 3 times, yarn over and pull through all of the loops, chain 1, and then do exactly the same again, another cluster into this same one chain, the space. So again, we've got yarn over, into the space, pick up a loop 1, 2 and 3, through all of the loops and chain 1. Into the next space we're going to do exactly the same, 2 cluster stitches into the next space. 1, 2 and 3, and chain 1. Adjusted the camera slightly. So there we've got the 1 cluster. We're now going to do a second cluster into that same space. So yarn over into the space, pick up a loop once, twice and 3 times, yarn over, pull through all of the loops and chain 1. So you can see we've got 2 in the first, 2 in the second space. We're going to do 2 clusters in each space all the way around. So yarn over into the space, pick up a loop once, twice, 3 times, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, chain 1 and another cluster into the same space, chain 1, move over into the next space, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, chain 1 and exactly the same again, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, pull through all of the loops with a chain 1 to finish off the stitch. 1, 2 and 3, yarn over through all of the loops, chain 1 and a second cluster in that same space, 3, yarn over, chain 1 into the next space, 2 and 3, pull through all the loops, chain 1, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over and through all of the loops. We've now got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 2 more spaces where we're going to do 2 more clusters in each of those spaces. So yarn over 1, 2 and 3, pull through, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3 and chain 1, and the final cluster, 2 and 3, chain 1, and again we're going to join into the top of the first cluster with a slip stitch and fasten off. So we've now got 8 clusters in the first row, we've now got 16 clusters in the second row. We're going to join in a third colour. To rejoin the yarn in between any of the 2 clusters, so slip knot onto the hook and join in between the 2 clusters with a slip stitch, chain 1, and again pull the loop quite loose. In between the sets of 2 clusters we're going to work 2 clusters. In the space in between we're just going to work 1 cluster. So we start yarn over, pull up a loop once, yarn over, pull up a loop twice, yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, chain 1, and we're going to do another cluster into that same space. We're then going to do 1 cluster in the space between the 2 sets of 2. So 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and then into the next 2 clusters we're going to work 2 clusters in the space in between. There's 1, 1, 2 and 3, and there's the 2. Back into the space between the 2 sets of clusters we just do the 1 cluster. Into the next space we're going to work 2 clusters. And then back to 1. So you can see we've got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. We carry on all the way around in the same way, working 2 between the 2 and 1 between each set of 2. Back to 2. and then back to just the one. Just untangle the yarn a little bit. There we go. So we're back to the 2 clusters in this space. And then 1 into the next. Two in the next space. And 1 into the next. Two into this next space. And 1 into the final space. And again we're going to fasten off into the top of the first cluster. Fasten off the yarn and pull through. So we've got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. Now going to square off the work. We're only going to work in between the 2 sets of clusters. So I'm going to go back to the white yarn and join with a slip stitch into the space between any of the 2 clusters and join with a slip stitch. We work 3 chain, and this is going to count as the first double, followed by a further 2 doubles. Chain 2, and in that same space we're going to work another 3 doubles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3, and that's the first corner made. We then chain 1, we skip the single cluster that's on its own, and we go over to between the 2 clusters here, and we're going to work into that space 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip the next cluster, and over into the next double cluster we're going to work 3 doubles, chain 2 and another 3 doubles into that same space. Chain 1, skip the single cluster, and into the next double cluster we're going to work 3 doubles. Followed by chain 1, skip the next cluster, and into the space between the 2 clusters we're going to work 3 doubles, 2 chain and 3 doubles. followed by chain 1. You can see now that the circle is now squaring off. Again, we skip this cluster and go between the 2 clusters, where we're going to work 3 doubles, followed by chain 1, skip the next cluster, and in between the 2 clusters here we're going to work the final corner, which is 3 doubles, 2 chain and 3 doubles, chain 1, skip the single cluster and into the space in the 2 clusters we're going to work 3 doubles, followed by chain 1, and then we're going to join into the top of the 3rd chain of the starting stitch. We can fasten off the yarn and pull through. I'm now going back onto the paler pink for the final row. So slip knot to the hook and join in any of the chain space after a corner stitch with a slip stitch and work 3 chain, which again counts as the first double, followed by a further 2 doubles, chain 1 into the next 1 chain space. We're going to work, oops, I've just caught the yarn from the previous row there. We're going to work 3 doubles into this next 1 chain space. Chain 1, and into the corner we're going to work 3 doubles, 2 chain and 3 doubles, chain 1 and 3 doubles, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next 1 chain space, chain 1, back into the corner where we're going to work the 3 double, chain 2 and 3 double, followed by a chain 1, and again the 3 doubles into the next 1 chain space, chain 1, 3 doubles into the next 1 chain space, chain 1, and again back into the corner with the 3 doubles, 2 chain, 3 double, chain 1. Again we're going to do the 3 doubles, chain 1, 3 double, chain 1, 3 double, 2 chain, 3 double, chain 1, and then we join into this first stitch. Come all the way round. I'm just going to join into the 3rd chain with a slip stitch, cut off the yarn pull through and fasten off. If you want to carry on and make the squares a little bit bigger, you can do more rows around, or you can then join the squares together if you're wanting to make a blanket. You can also join in the African flower square that I made in a previous tutorial. That comes out to the same size as well. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.